Good morning, students. Can someone confirm if I'm audible? Can you hear me? Anyone, please?
Yes, you can. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Rabikan. Thanks. Students, first thing I need to make you aware of is that this session is being recorded. And I'm going to ask you to ensure that you mute your mics. And I'm going to also ask for the permission to switch off my video. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem with data. Okay, so welcome to Structural Mechanics 2A. The subject code is STMC201. So I've got a few documents that I would like us to take a look at. Okay, the first one is basically my timetable, and I hope you can all see my screen. Okay, I take it as yes. So basically, this is how we're going to do things this semester. We've got a double period on Monday from 11 to 1. So I will use this time definitely for lectures. I may also use it for tutorials depending on the developments, how far we've gone with the topic and whether or not you need more tutorials. And then again on Friday, we will have tutorials and practicals if we need to. What I will do is I will tell you when to come for practicals, because I will need to call you in small groups. Okay, so I'll be seeing you on Monday and Friday. So it's double period. On Friday, it's from 8 to 10. Okay, and then after this, I need to show you quickly how you can access your timetables or any lecturer's timetable on the internet. So what I'm going to do is obviously be outside DUT. So I'm just going to use Google here, www.dut.ac.za. Enter. Okay, if I go to staff, okay, and you will be able to see timetables there. Okay, and Faculty of Engineering, Civil Engineering and Geomatics, Devon, and then you can see timetables for modules, groups, staff, rooms, etc. Right. So I believe, I hope that you all have timetables. You know which day you're doing what at what time, etc. So please make sure that you attend all sessions that are shown on your timetable. Right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the handbook. I'm not going to cover everything in the handbook. I just need to make sure that you're aware that there is a departmental handbook, and we will quickly discuss important things that you will find in the handbook. Right. Before I proceed, I just need to make sure that we are still on the same page. Are you following me? Any confirmation, please?
Yes, we are following, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Right. So let's talk about the handbook. This one is 2022. Obviously, it's been updated. So when you have time, please, you will need to go to the handbook yourself. It's a long document, about 58 pages. You need to understand, know what your qualification is, what your qualification is about, what is the purpose of the BNG Tech you're currently doing. So you'll find that information here. The 3-year degree, there is no in-service training. We have a design project at third year, second semester. Right, so there's other information that you'll find here with regards to the staffing, the assessment rules, which we're going to discuss very briefly, re-registration rules. Let me take you to the departmental secretary details. So this is her number, Miss Pauline Steele, 0313732224. This is her email address. But obviously, you'll only send an email if it's an administration issue that is meant to be resolved by the department. Other issues are resolved by the faculty office. The faculty office is at the same level as our department. We are in level 3, S block, block 6, and the faculty, I think it is block S3. So that's where you can get a printout of your academic results, etc. Right, so the person you can contact at the faculty office is Mrs. Nita Singh. There is also Mr. Vusi. I'm not sure why they didn't put in his name here, but because what normally happens is you'll find you will have to speak to someone before you can communicate with her. Usually, it will be another person who's going to help you. So, but anyway, if you have any queries, you will just need to dial the number, and then obviously, if she needs to assist you, then they will forward the call through to her. Right, so there is block S4 level 3, like I said. Okay, and then Dean's office is level 5, block S6. Same building, Stevio campus. Sorry, same block, S block, here in Stevio campus. In terms of the staffing, you can see our staff complement, technicians, and then in terms of the rules that I need to discuss with you, so I'm going to use the search command. The first one is timetable clashes. So timetable clashes. Let's check that one. Yeah. Okay. So we've gone through the timetable. My timetable is supposed to correspond with your timetable with respect to a time, right? So please make sure. Yes, I'm listening. I think somebody is trying to talk. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry. Who's
Good
that?
days. Good days.
Yes. Yes. I'm listening.
While we're discussing the handbook, might I ask, as I was studying at Indomiso campus, and then I graduated the diploma and I articulated to the program. But I saw when they were handing out the degrees and such, that some people were listed under diploma of civil engineering, specializing in transport, and some were not listed at all. They were just written the bachelor of technology and all that. So might I ask, could you please explain to me that difference?
Okay. Mr. Makazi. Okay. Thanks for asking. Yeah. So you can, it's fine. You can lower your hand. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you don't mind, please, can you drop me an email? Send me an email, stating your query, because obviously I'll need to do some cross reference or cross checking. If you don't mind, can we do it that way? So just send me an email. My email is bongak. My email is bongak@dut.ac.za. So what I'm going to do is, let me just write it here on chat. So it's bongak@dut.ac.za. bongak@dut.ac.za. So
Okay, so
yes,
I will send an email to that email address.
okay, excellent. Okay, thank you very much. And then I just need to make sure that whatever I'm going to say responding is checked, correctly. Right. So let's proceed, students. In terms of timetable clashes, EC 18, you need to be aware of it. No student will be permitted to register for any module combination where there will be any timetable or test clashes. In the event of there being a clash, then the student will be required to register for a module from the lowest level of the qualification for which they are registering. Furthermore, it is the student's responsibility to check prior to registration that there are no clashes, as no special arrangements will be made to accommodate such instances. In the event of a student missing a test, practical deadline as a result of a clash, a 0 mark will be awarded. Right. I know this is a little bit of an uneasy topic for students. So what I'm going to say, just make sure that you are aware of the rule, and with respect to the actual timetable, the lectures, okay, there should be no clashes, right? I know some students, sometimes they'll be doing maybe my subject and then another subject in year 3 or whatever the case is. If that happens, right, and there is a test clash, then the rule says that basically the lower level subject takes a preference. Okay, so if you read that sentence there, then you realize that, let's say there was no issue with your lectures and there's only one issue and it happened to be, say, test 3 or test 4, clashing with my test. So the lower level subject takes preference. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say to you. As far as I know, very well, let me put it this way. I have not seen the test timetable yet. I haven't seen I haven't seen a finalized cross-checked test timetable. Okay, I haven't seen that. So basically, I think some of you might end up with problems. Obviously, if you have level 2 and level 3. Okay, so what I've done to try and eliminate the problem of having a test clash is to let me go back to my timetable. We will write tests or assessments during the lecture time. Okay, so that will solve the problem, because you're not supposed to be having another lesson anywhere at this time if you registered for my subject. Okay, so with respect to lectures and with respect to tests, you all free, technically, strictly speaking, you all supposed to be free between 11 and 1 on Monday and between 8 and 10 on Friday. So everyone is supposed to be free. And I think that is a fair approach to, finding a solution to this potential problem. I mean, put it that way. Okay. And then the next thing we need to discuss is it's still under tests. Okay, so spatial test, I think they call it spatial test. Okay, right. Let's see what they say here. EC10, this is the role. You need to rate the entire EC10. But basically, to summarize the rule is that if you are unable to write a test because of any illness, you're supposed to then visit a professional doctor, and then you'll be examined, and then you must not forget to ask for a sick note. And when you come back on campus, then you obviously make copies, but you submit the original certificate to Pauline Steele. So in that case, then you'll submit it to our secretary, and then she will forward she will ask you which test you missed. Then you will tell her, okay, I missed Mr. Kuzwayo's test as well as Mr. Vauda's test and another one, right? So, and then on that doctor's certificate, then she's going to write the subject codes, and then she will then forward or make copies of the certificates and then give it to each lecturer, or forward just one scan to all lecturers that are affected by that issue. Okay, that's basically how we do it. So please make sure that you read the entire EC10. It's very, very important. In my case, I need to, for my module, I need to make it clear to you that if you miss a test, basically you will write a special test. Obviously, you need to provide the doctor's note as per rule EC10, but you will only write, I only ran the special test at the end of the semester. Sorry, at the end of lectures for that semester, but before obviously exams. And that special test will cover the entire syllabus. So Yes, say you write test 1, you miss test 2, you write the practical assessment. So because you missed test 2, then obviously I'm going to get a certificate, the doctor's note from Pauline. And then I will issue a date for special tests on Moodle or MS Team, and then you will write a special test. Special test is like an exam, the way I said it, because it includes the work for the entire semester. Okay, right. So please make sure you go to the stuff that is in the departmental handbook. Right, and then the next thing in this course, because you'll be writing all assessments on campus, all assessments will be written on campus. In this course, if you're going to need the formula sheet, I will provide it to you. I'll make copies of the formula sheet, but you need to keep your own copy at home when studying so that you are fully aware which formulas I will give and which one I will not give. As you can see here, this formula sheet is only 1 page, and this one is for 2022 semester 1. Make sure that when you study, you make yourself aware of the formulas that will be given and those that you're supposed to know. For example, I don't expect students to memorize this entire equation. Okay, but if you don't know the area of a triangle, then please make sure that you get to know it soon. Right. So I've covered the formula sheet, and I said I will print the formula sheet and include it in your test as an annexure at the end of your question paper. I will only include the formula sheet if you will require to use the formulas that are presented in this formula sheet. Right, and then we have the laboratory safety manual. So we're going to talk about the practicals that you're going to do this semester, but I need to make sure that I don't forget to tell you that we have the laboratory safety manual. Right, so this is an addendum to your PEC manual, which we'll discuss soon. Right, the lab that I'm going to take you in the next month or two does not have lots of safety hazards, right? All you need to do, if you comply with wearing closed shoes, wearing a long, I think a long shirt, you must just check on the departmental handbook. They do tell you that how you need to wear. You need to be presentable, and in there they mention something about using closed shoes, especially when you come to the labs, right? So coming back to this, so there are no chemicals in my lab. Basically, what we'll be using this semester is just 2 practical kits, one for bending moment, one for shear force. That's all. The weights we're going to use are very, very small. They're like, I think the maximum is 500, 500, I think Newton, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so we're done with the laboratory safety manual. If you can comply with the one for geotechnical engineering or the one for any subject where you need to go to the concrete or the soils lab, then you'll be okay with my lab, especially for this semester. Right, we need to move on. Now here's the practical manual. Okay, so this document, you don't need to read it most immediately. You just need to read this document, start reading it a week before you come for, you're due for your practical. Right, so the practicals we're going to do here. Let me just use rather two-page view. Okay, so this is the first one. So we'll have the shear force variation with an increasing point load. I will print this for you, the practical worksheet. I'll print it for you. Okay, you can print it yourself if you want to. If you prefer to read it as a hard copy, I have no problem with that. But for the lab work, I'll provide copies that you will use to write, to take readings on. Right, so I'll provide that, and I'll provide you with a graph paper. But what I wanted to say is we have 4 practicals. Okay, the first one is experiment 1, that's practical 1, shear force variation with an increasing point load. Then we have experiment 2, shear force variation for various loading conditions. Again, I'll provide this. You will need to take note of your reading, so you write them down there on this table. There's a graph that, sorry, in this case, you don't need to draw a graph, in fact. But anyway, there is a graph paper. Right, so then there is experiment 3, the bending moment variation at the point of loading. Here you need to draw a graph. And then the last one is a bending moment variation away from the point of loading. You just need to take readings and then complete that part. Again, on this one, you don't need to draw a graph. So it's just a spare graph paper I'm going to provide. I said I will, in fact, I've already printed these. I just need to take them to the lab so that when you come, they're ready for you. Right, but it's very important to read this entire document before you come for your practical. Now let's talk about the study guide. So please don't forget this session is being recorded. The idea behind it is that the students who are still busy trying to register, sort out the rest, whatever the case is, I'm going to save the link on MS Teams. So I need to keep this session just under 1 hour. And then I will save the link on MS Teams as well as Moodle. And then they will be able to go through what we're doing at the moment. But please, you always have to attend, because if you don't do your work when required, then it tends to build up. Then you end up with too much work to complete before any assessment. Right, so study guide. In terms of SACA credit, South African Qualification Authority credits, this one is a 12 credit module. Okay, structural mechanics 1B, if you remember, it was also 12. Civil mechanics 1A you did with Mr. Judge Pai and also maybe me. That one was 8 credits. The design projects that you're going to do in third year, I think that one is either 20 or 24, because it's got the structural component as well as the urban component in it. All right, so this is a 12 credit subject. So you need to spend about 10 times 12, 120 notional hours, but we'll discuss this just now. But in my office, 6 level 3 in the department, so you'll come here in the department if you have a permit to enter campus, and then obviously then you send me an email, if you wanna pay me a visit, because you maybe need to ask a few questions. So yeah, this is where my office is. Again, Steve Biko Campus S Block. This is my telephone number, 2237. But please, I'm gonna ask you, and this is very important, please send me an email. It helps, because what actually happens is that if I see your question as obviously good question, and most students are likely to ask it, and obviously I will then respond on model so that at least we all benefit. Head of department, Dr. Siam, right? Then in terms of lectures, strictly speaking, it's supposed to be 2 periods per week, 1 for practical, 1 for tutorial. But we put it as double, and then the thing is, there's quite a lot of topics we need to cover in this course. So I really need to use time even from the practical. Okay, so basically there's no free day because we haven't started the practicals. We'll just do more tutorials. All right, so I'm going to welcome you again in this course. If you read this book again, then you will be welcomed for the third time. But I want to welcome all of you, and I really wish that we can have a fruitful, successful semester. This is a very short semester. I will show it to you when we go through the term planner. Some of the things, please, students, you'll need to read it yourself, right? The purpose of the study guide basically is to give you essential information about the course, and you need to get an updated study guide for all your modules. Okay, you must get your study guides for all your modules, and you must read your study guides very, very carefully. They're supposed to give you essential information about the module you're registered for. It also covers an introduction to the subject, learning outcomes, assessment criteria, learning, teaching, and assessment strategies, copyright and plagiarism, student report, and quality assessment and enhancement. Right, so in terms of learning outcomes, you need to be able to draw shear force diagrams, bending moment diagrams, calculate support reactions at the support, determine the point of contraflexion, be able to use moment area method, be able to solve prop cantilevers, be able to calculate deflections for beams, and we will also touch up very briefly on torsion. Right, what is happening is this. In this course, I need to develop 3 graduate attributes. Okay, you cannot graduate, get this qualification or complete the qualification if you do not satisfy all 11 graduates that you have this qualification. And at this stage, I'm not testing any, but I have a responsibility to develop at least 3 graduate attributes. The first one is problem solving. Here, we identify, formulate, analyze, and solve broadly defined engineering problems. Not complex problems, but broadly defined engineering problems. Graduate attribute 2 is about application of scientific and engineering knowledge. Okay. Here we apply knowledge of mathematics. To give you an example, I give you an area. I'll give you an area that is defined by, say, 2 equations. So there you will then have to then apply the knowledge of mathematics, okay, to quantify that area. Maybe you'll use that area to do something else. Natural sciences, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialty to solve broadly defined engineering problems. In terms of the level descriptor, then we have a knowledge of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences, which is characterized by 1, a knowledge of mathematics using formalism and oriented toward engineering analysis and modeling, fundamental knowledge of natural science, both as relevant to discipline or recognized practice area. So you can read all of that when you have time. And then GA5 is graduate attribute 5. GA5, we have engineering methods, skills, and tools, including information technology. Here, you need to demonstrate competence to use appropriate engineering methods, skills, and tools, including those based on information technology. And then you can read through that yourself. Right, in terms of copyright and plagiarism, please make sure that if it's not your work, you provide a reference and you provide a reference correctly. Okay, so don't procrastinate, and then when it comes to submitting an assignment, then you make a copy of your friend's work and then you just scan that and then you put it on Moodle for me to look at. Okay, please let's not do that. Again, please make sure you read through that. Here at DUT, we have student support. Right, so if you go online, then you'll be able to contact the following support that you may require, such as individual career counseling, leadership development, peer counselor training, life skills and personal development, etc. Right, the item 8, there's no work integrated learning. We used to call it in-service training. In this qualification, what we have is a design project module which has 20 credits. So it's not 24, it is 20. Okay. And then item 9, maybe 1 month or 2 months into the course, I'm going to request you to for students, I'm sorry, my apologies. I'm actually a DUT. I was using their Wi-Fi, so I lost a connection. So I now had to use I think we call it hotspot. So I'm using my phone currently. I'm sorry about that. So I think we need to continue, right? Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back slightly. because I'm not 100% sure when I got disconnected. So I said on item 8 is no work integrated learning. What we have in this degree is a design project, which has a SACA credit value of 20, not 24 as I have suggested earlier. And then I also said item 9 in terms of the quality assurance and enhancement. 1 or 2 months into the course, I'm going to request you to complete SCQs, subject evaluation questionnaire, and LAQ, lecturer evaluation questionnaire. So when asked, please, it is very important to provide feedback. Say what you want, say what you don't like, say what you like to see improved, then it is my responsibility to act accordingly. Right. So it's very important. If you're happy with everything, that's also not a problem. You can just say you're happy with everything. The lecturer comes on time in class. He's giving us enough tutorials, but you need to comment. Very, very important that you give us feedback because you're paying to be here. So then the next page is, now let's talk about assessment methods. Okay, learning outcomes, we've discussed that, and I said you can look at the assessment criteria yourself, but basically it's almost copy and paste from there. And assessment methods. So we've got 2 tests. Okay, and there's practical competency test that you need to write, and then this one will focus on shear force diagrams and bending moment diagrams. And because of few issues with students unable to draw shear force and bending moment diagrams in the subject you'll be doing next semester, so then I'm going to focus the practical on shear force and bending moment diagrams, and then there's a sub minimum. So basically, to complete this module, you need to obtain a sub minimum, a minimum of 60% for your practical competency test. So you need to make sure that you are able to draw shear force and bending moment diagrams before you write that competency test. There's also an examination on Moodle. I'm going to show you. Basically, I use Firefox, and well, I've got it set here till zprod.dut. Okay, but on the study guide, it does tell you how to get onto Moodle, and you are second years, so you should be familiar with Moodle. So you put your password wherever it's required, or username. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Okay, seems like there's a problem, and the reason why it's showing this is because I'm using it via my phone. So obviously I won't be able to show you this, but basically just make sure that you go to the course on Moodle and have a look at what I have uploaded there. It's basically the same thing I've uploaded on MS Teams. And you will see on MS Teams that there is a revision assignment that you need to complete on Thursday. Because on Friday, we're going to have a revision session, which is very important for the work we're going to do next week. All right, so let's move on. Study notes. So I have also provided study notes for you. Okay, this is what we used to use before we started giving students the prescribed book. So if you go down here, I'm just looking for tutorial 8 because this is where on MS Teams I've asked you to do, right? So what I asked you is just calculate these reactions at the support for all 5 problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only support reactions, and make sure you check them. So you'll only calculate support reactions. You write all your workings on a piece of paper, and then you scan, and then you upload that on MS Teams, not on Moodle, on MS Teams. Please, students, don't send the work via email. So you'll need to upload it on MS Teams. Page 39, you only need to calculate the reactions at the support. Okay. Right, so these are your study notes. You can print them or you can save them on your laptop, but basically this is this has everything that you need in this course. Now, what is going to happen is this. We need to look at before the term planner. I think I need to show you the book that you were supposed to get last year. Came late. I know some of you were doing, most of you in fact were doing Structural Mechanics 1B. This book was ordered on time. There was an issue with the publisher and the shipping of the book because the book we were getting it overseas. So there was a problem, and there was also an issue with the textbook that I know for other subjects. I'm well aware of that, and I still apologize to the students that were supposed to get the book last year. But what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to issue this book to you this semester because it's a very, very good book. It's a book that you must keep for the rest of your structural life. If you're going to be a structures person, you have to have this book. It's got worked example, classic examples that have been used, in major assessments in different universities, and you will see it. So this is the book you're going to get. I'll give you a notice on Moodle as to when you can come on campus exactly on time, and I'm going to specify to collect the book. But in this book, we'll only use 2 chapters. That's all. Only 2 chapters we're going to use. Now let's look at the term planner, which is the last thing that I'm going to do today. We only have 5 minutes left. Right, so basically, we're going to cover shear force and bending moment diagrams. Okay. After that, then we will look at free body diagrams and 3-pin structures. While we're doing that, we will be busy with practicals. I will tell you when to come, which day you need to come, which time you need to come for your practical. And then after 3-pin structures, then we will move on to deflection of beams, followed by a moment area method, struts, Morse theorem, determinate and indeterminate structures. And then you will see the date for test 1. Test 1 is this Friday there. double period, writing test 1, and then test 2. If you go up, then you see it's that Friday there. Okay, so that's but you'll have to check. It's 13th of May, and then the other one is 18th of March, and then the practical competency test, we'll write it on a Monday, just after vacation. So you have a date, but cannot move any test. There's a reason for that. We cannot move any test. These tests will be written during a scheduled lecture period. Test 1 on a Friday, test 2 on a Friday, practical, manual on a Monday. You need to make sure that you prepare yourself. Now you can see, like I said, that we have a very, very short semester. If you count number of weeks, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We basically have, strictly speaking, just 11 weeks. You can all see that. You can see, students, that we don't have sufficient time. We don't have enough time to do hundreds of examples. So it's very important when given a homework or an assignment to do, like the first one I'm giving you, just to calculate support reactions. Very important that you do that. I know there's a hand up, you can talk, but I'm not sure who's, okay, I'm listening. Yes.
So, you said test 1 will be on Friday. Which Friday is it?
Hello? Okay, you can
you said
switch your
test 1 will
mic.
be.
Yes. What you do is test 1. This is the Friday, the 18th of March. 18th of March. This is the test 1. 18th of March. Double period from 8 to 10. That's test 1. Test 2. Again, it's a Friday, the 13th of May. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I think there's another hand up. Not sure if
yes. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
I said you do not add me to the Microsoft Teams class, and might I ask, could you please elaborate with regards to the test? So all of the tests will be written on campus.
Yes, for this subject, yes, all tests will be written on campus for this module.
It's not general that every subject will write on campus.
No, I'm not sure. You have to check with your lecturer, but for this module, yes, all tests will be written on campus. I'm not sure what other lecturers are doing. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Thank you.
We actually haven't had a staff meeting to to discuss all of that. But basically for this subject, everything will be on campus. And I do apologize that you haven't been added on MS Teams, but I'll show you something. Let me just share my screen. You will see. I hope you can see it now. You can see that I've already sent an email to Alan to re-enroll all students, because basically I know I've got 31 students currently on MS Teams. According to the class list this morning, I've got 72 that are registered. So what I did is yesterday I sent an email to all students, and then I gave them a link to join this meeting. Sorry about that, but hopefully before the end of the day today, you'll be you'll be linked to Teams class.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, okay. I'm listening. Ravichand, you've got your hands up.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm okay. Menir, yourself.
Okay, sir, I think the issue that's coming around with the registration that's causing this problem, most of us are unable to register due to the exemption registration being an error because we are transfer students from Indonesia. So it's not allowing us to complete our registration. So hopefully that gets sorted out by this week because we haven't been added onto Moodle and all our modules and stuff. We have no access to anything.
Oh, okay. I hear you. Please, like the first student, can you send me an email? Then I will forward it to Pauline, our secretary, and also the faculty office, and I'll tell them the agency of this matter.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, excellent. Right. Okay, there's another hand. I'm not sure whose hand it is. Kavona, I'm listening.
Hi, so I was about to ask the same question, but here's that you've answered it. And it's okay if I also send an email, or is it fine if that just one student gets you the email?
Yes, please drop me an email. Yeah, please just drop me an email. When you send an email, make sure that you have your student number, surname, and initials. Then I'll just forward it to Miss Steele. Okay. Okay. Okay, excellent. Students, what I'll do is I'll then try and find a link for this recorded meeting, and then I will upload it on Moodle. And also, I think you'll be able to see it on MS Teams. And then if you could please tell the students who did not attend this session, ask them to go through the recordings so that at least you know, we are able to catch up, before Friday. And also that assignment, please make sure you do it. I don't know if we can call it a day now. Can we call it a day? Can we close this session, students? Because I believe there are no more questions. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I will then see you on Friday via MS Teams.
Okay, sir. Thank you.